Tov, B'siyata Dishmaya, Wednesday night. My first time joining a Wednesday night at the Alshech. Very happy to be here. Happy that there's 3 days of learning in the Alshech Academy. B'zat Hashem, thank you to our cornerstone supporters and also the pillars. Thank you so much for everything that you guys have been doing for the Alshech Academy. Please get the message out there. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know what you have what you think about the shiurim. Give us the feedback. It all adds to the whole entire experience. And the shiur is obviously for, not only for our sponsors, but also the refuah shlema of all of the injured people, all of the soldiers, a speedily return for all of the hostages, those alive in Avdil, those that are alive in a higher place. And also, B'ezrat Hashem, for the Atzlacha of the Chayalim to really, just to finish this job. B'ezrat Hashem, Im Yirtzeh Hashem. And I hope he does. We are in Derech Hashem. Derech Hashem, we're in the first Chelek, in the second part. Perek Sheni, Chelek Aleph, Perek Sheni. And the chapter is titled, Tachlit B'Tachlit HaBriya. What is the purpose of creation? So put your seatbelts on, B'ezrat Hashem, we're getting liftoff. הנה, התכלית בבריאה היה להיטיב מטובו יתברך שמו לזולתו. The Ramchal brings where the Arizal left off, that the whole entire purpose of creation was to give over of the good of Hashem to others. והנה תראה, כי הוא לבדו יתברך שמו השלמות האמיתי המשולל מכל החסרונות, like we learned in the first chapter. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem himself, blessed be he by himself is the true good that is not lacking anything at all. Ven shlemut achar kemohu klal. There is no other being, thing at all that could ever have the shlemut, the completion, the perfection that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has. נמצא שכל שלמות שהיא דומה חוץ משלמותו יתברך שמו, הנה איננו שלמות אמיתי. So if Hashem is the only true, complete, perfection, good, then any other thing that seems like it's good or perfect could not really be a true perfection. It could not be a true good. אלא ייקרא שלמות בערך אל עניין החסר ממנו. Rather, it is called whole in comparison to the thing that is lacking. אך השלמות בהחלט אינו אלא שלמותו יתברך שמו. Completional, perfection, that is only the completion and the perfection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. ועל כן, בהיות חפצו יתברך שמו להיטיב לזולתו. Since Hashem's desire was to do good for others. By the way, just Sograim in parentheses here, this is one of the most life-changing chapters that you could have in any Jewish book that you're ever going to learn. Mamash, life-changing chapters, so just pay attention. Since HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted, his desire was to give good to others, lo yaspik lo biyoto metiv k'tzat tov. It wouldn't be good, so to say, for Hashem to be influencing a little bit of good. אלא ביותו מיטיב לתכלית הטוב שאפשר לברורים שיקבלו. Rather, Hashem, if his whole entire intention behind creation was to give from his goodness to others, then it couldn't be that he gives only a little bit. He has to give the end-all be-all of what is called good, that those that he created could receive. וביותו הוא לבדו יתברך שמו הטוב האמיתי. Since Hashem himself alone is the only true good, לא יסתפק חפצו הטוב, אלא ביותו מהנה לזולתו בטוב ההוא עצמו שהוא בו יתברך שמו מצד עצמו, שהוא הטוב השלם האמיתי. If Hashem is the only true good, and Hashem wants to give good, that's why he created the world, what could Hashem give that is better than himself? The good that Hashem wants to give is the ultimate good, because he's the ultimate good. So what does Hashem really want to give us? Himself. That is the good that he created the world in order to give us. People have the question, last night we had in the Chabura, the question, how is it that the wicked people get so much good? If you think a car, if you think a credit card, if you think a house, that is good, you don't understand what good is. Hashem is the real good. And that the wicked people don't have Hashem. והנה מצד אחר, on the other side, הטוב הזה אי אפשר שימצא אלא בו. This good could only be found in Hashem. על כן גזרה חוכמתו שמציאות ההטבה האמיתית הזאת יהיה במה שייתן מקום לברורים שידבקו בו יתברך שמו. So then what is the good that Hashem wanted to give? The wisdom of Hashem decreed that good that he wants to give is the ability for the creations to have dveikut, to have attachment to Hashem. In the same measure that it would be able for them to cling to Hashem. Meaning, you're an individual, and you're a different person. Each one of us has a different ability, a different capability to attach to Hashem according to where we're holding. ואז נמצא שמה שמצד עצמם אי אפשר שיתוארו בשלמותו יתברך שמו, הנה מצד התדבקם בו יגיע להם באותו השיעור שאפשר לתאר לשלמות, ההוא מצד היותם מתדבקים בו יתברך שמו. וימצאו נהנים בטובה האמיתית ההיא בערך שאפשר להם ליהנות בה. Since you are not complete, and you will never be complete, the only completion and only good that you could tap into is the goodness of Hashem. And Hashem created a world that you can tap into the ultimate good that He wants to give you by way of dveikud, by way of you attaching to yourself to Him. But it only could be according to how much you are able to tolerate and how much you have inside of you the ability to attach to that goodness. Right? So then it goes that each individual creation can tap into the ultimate good according to the level that he himself is ready to tolerate and ready to comprehend and to hold. Because Hashem wants you to enjoy from the dveikut. So you have to be able to receive the dveikut according to your level. If it's too much light to attach to Hashem, you get shattered, and then you're not enjoying the good that Hashem wants to give to you. So if you're a 10-year-old kid, then you have a certain amount of level of dveikut that you can attach to. Once you're bar mitzvah, now you're chayav and mitzvot, now you have a whole entire world of mitzvot that you could engage in order to do that. The more you grow in life, the more opportunities you have to rectify yourself in order to receive more of this good. נמצא היות כוונתו יתברך שמו בבריאה שברא לברוא מי שיהיה נהנה בטובו יתברך שמו באותו הדרך שאפשר שיהנו בו. So you see that the intention of Hashem was to create a creature, a person, a creation. We're saying people, he hasn't said it here yet, but a human being is the goal, right? That human being will be able, he is the creation that is able to cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to enjoy from this good. ואולם גזרה חוכמתו של להיות הטוב שלם, ראוי שיהיה הנהנה בו בעל הטוב ההוא. Hashem saw, the wisdom is here that של להיות הטוב שלם, so that the good that Hashem wants to give should be whole and should be complete. It should be fitting that the person that's receiving that good and enjoying that good should be the owner of that good. Meaning, מי שיקנה הטוב בעצמו ולא מי שיתלווה לו הטוב בדרך מקרה. Meaning, the person himself should acquire that good, and it shouldn't be like an outcome of just living life. Right? It's like something that, here's a side effect of being a human, you're going to get some good here and there in life. No. If you really want good, you have to acquire it. You have to be the owner of it. This is what's called a little bit of similarity. In the measure that's possible, to the completion, to the wholesomeness of Hashem. Meaning, the human being working on himself in order to be able to acquire that good, that is so to say, a form of completion that is similar to the completion of Hashem. Hashem himself is whole. He himself is whole, like we talked about in the previous chapter. Not that some kind of coincidence. No, Hashem is whole. Like we talked about in the first chapter, the fact that Hashem is Hashem, it must be that He's whole, that He's complete. It must be also that He's not lacking anything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not lacking anything at all. You can't find a creature that is completely complete and not lacking anything besides Hashem. It's impossible. Hashem is the only being in the whole entire universe, beyond the universe. Only Hashem is complete, and only Hashem is not lacking anything else. You don't have any human being, any creature, any creation that is causing his own reality, that he's the reason he exists. He's complete in every facet of existence, and he's not lacking anything. אך לדמות לזה במקצת, צריך שלפחות יהיה הוא הקונה השלמות שאין אמיתת עניינו מכריח לו, ויהיה הוא המאדיר מעצמו החסרונות שיהיו אפשרים בו. Like we said though, that when you acquire the good, it's because you are, so to say, similar to Hashem. That could only be that you have to be a being that at least you start to acquire a little bit more completion. You start to work on yourself and become better and better. And you yourself are getting rid of the lacks that you have in life, the negative sides of your being. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created that there should be a creation that has ideas of completion and ideas of lacks. There will be a creation that has inside of it the ability for both sides equally. There will be a creation, right? There will be given to these creations a tool or tools that by way of them you're able to acquire more completion, acquire more perfection, and get rid of the lacks that you have. When you start to perfect yourself and work on your traits, and you become better, and you go from being an angry person, which is a lack, to being a calm person, which is completion, right? The more that you can do that, then that is, so to say, the more that you will appear like the completion of Hashem, which will allow you the opening to cling to Hashem and have dveikut to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to enjoy all of the good that He wants to give you. ואומנם מלבד היות הבריאה הזאת שקנתה השלמות וראויה להידבק בבורא יתברך שמו מצד דמותה לו, הנה על ידי קנותו השלמות לה נמצאת מדבקת והולכת בו עד שסוף קנותה השלמות והיא מצאה מדבקת בו יהיה הכל עניין אחד. The person works on himself and starts to acquire the different traits needed in order to cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to cling to its creator and to appear more like its creator. By way of acquiring all of these different traits and becoming better and better and better, when you're actually becoming better, you are already clinging to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and walking with HaKadosh Baruch Hu until the end when you start to acquire more and more perfection, and then you see that working on yourself as a person and becoming better and dveikut in the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the same thing, right? You becoming a better person and you clinging to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the same thing. וזה כי בהיותו מציאותו יתברך שמו השלמות האמיתי, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the true שלמות, is the true perfection, כמו שאמרנו, הנה מה שהוא שלמות אינו מתייחס אלא לו. The fact that you have perfection, you, yourself, have perfected some aspect of your being, that whose perfection is that? Whose completion is that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu's. It's Hashem's. It's not yours. K'anaf el hashoresh. You're, so to say, a branch of the root. You're a continuation of the root. What is the root? Your soul comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ki-af al pi she'eno megia l'shlemut hashorshi. Even though you're not getting to the perfection that's in the root, you are a continuation of the root. You are an offspring, so to say, of the root. The true completion, the true perfection, that is the reality of Hashem, the existence of Hashem. What does it mean, a lack in this world? Hashem is complete, and Hashem created this world, so this world is also complete. So what does it mean when we see something negative in this world, or we see a lack? It is a lack, it is, so to say, a concealment of Hashem, and a concealment of His face, of His countenance. When you see bad in this world, it's not really bad. It's just you don't see Hashem. If you were to see Hashem and that bad, then you would get it, like the Jews going to Egypt. When you understand the Torah of the Alshech and the Torah of the Arizal and the Torah of Rabbi Shimon, then you understand that going to Egypt was a gift for Avraham Avinu and Yitzchak and Yaakov, that their children should be purified and come out perfect. You find from this that Hashem shining His countenance on a person and bringing a person closer, that is the root and the cause of all perfection that could be in the world. And the concealment of His face, that is the reason and the cause of all lack in the world. אשר כשיעור ההסתר, כך יהיה שיעור החיסרון הנמשך ממנו. As big as the concealment of Hashem is, so too will be the greatness of the lack that's inside the world. ועל כן הנברא הזה העומד בשיקול בין השלמות והחסרונות. Therefore, this creation that is standing perfectly balanced between the side of perfection and the side of lack, Shem toldot ha'ara v'ha'ester, which perfection and lack are offspring of a shining countenance of Hashem or the lack of shining countenance of Hashem. בהתחזקו בשלמויות והקנותם אותם בעצמו, הנה הוא אוחז בו יתברך שמו שהוא השורש והמקור להם. When you start to rectify yourself and work on yourself and acquire these traits that make you a more whole person, a better person, right? And you start to lose the lacks, you now are grasping and holding on to the root and to the source of everything. כפי מה שירבה בשלומיות, כך הוא מרבה האחיזה והתדבקות בו. The more you perfect yourself, the more you're grasping and clinging to Hashem. עד שבהגיעו אל התכלית קניית השלמויות, הנה הוא מגיע אל תכלית האחיזה והתדבקות בו יתברך שמו, ונמצא מדבק בו יתברך שמו, ונהנה בטובו, משתלם בו, והוא עצמו בעל טובו ושלמותו. To the point that you get to the point where you're really perfecting yourself in every facet, and the more you're doing that, the more you're grasping Hashem, the more you're holding on to Hashem. And then you will be clinging mamash to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'neheh betuvo, you're enjoying all of the good that He wanted to give you and the whole reason that He created the world and you. And mishtalem bo, and you are completing yourself in Him. V'hu atzmo bal tuvo ha'ushlemotu. You are the master of the good. You, so to say, you are the one that is holding on and working on yourself so much that you've acquired the good. You own it. It's not some kind of thing that's happening as a bonus while you go through life. No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give you good, but He wanted you to really acquire it so that it would be yours, right? Like a person could come give you a mansion. If He just gave it to you, you would never really feel like it's your house. Deep, 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 deep down, you would never really feel like you bought that, like you own the house. It could be yours, it's under your name, but you know you didn't really do much to get it, right? It was a gift to you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want that. He didn't want us eating what's called in Hebrew lechem kozev, right? Disappointing bread. That it was just given to you. No, Hashem wanted us to work to be able to acquire it. והנה לכשיהיו במציאות העניינים השונים האלה של שלמות וחיסרון שזכרנו ותמצא הבריאה שזכרנו בתוכה שהיא צריכה להיות, right? When you have now the reality of completion and lack, and you have this creation that's inside the world that needs to be, פירוש, meaning באפשרות לשני העניינים וביכולת עליהם, that meaning that you have the ability to go right or to go left, to go towards completion or to go towards lack, towards destruction, and you have the ability to overcome anything. שתקנה השלמות ותיעדר מן החסרונות, you are able to acquire perfection and get rid of problems, get rid of lack. ושימצאו לה האמצעים לדבר הזה, and you have inside your reality the tools to know in order to help you get there, meaning לקנות זה השלמות, meaning to acquire the good. Hashem gave you a Torah, Hashem gave you a world, tools for you to be able to acquire good traits. For sure then you have to see that there's many aspects and there's many fine details that need to be found inside this creation. And there's a lot of different relations between all of these finer details. Until it will be successful, the whole entire intention that was intended at the time that it was all created and given. Who is the creation that was meant to go on this big mission and to receive all this good? Meaning to cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like we said. Whoever that creation is that was intended to receive all of this good, that creation is the whole entire purpose, the main purpose of the creation. Everything else that you find in creation besides a human being, לא יהיה אלא עוזר באיזה צד או באיזה בחינה אל התכלית, שיצלח וימצא ועל כן יקראו תפלים לבריאה עיקרית שזכרנו. Everything in the world besides a human being is secondary. Animals, nature, Everything is secondary to the primary. The primary is the human being. Everything else is just to help us become successful in getting towards the goal. What is the goal? Dveikut, attachment to Hashem. This main creation that the world was created for is the human race. The whole entire rest of creation, whether they're lower or higher than the human, they're only created for the human being. In order for him, the human being, to perfect himself, according to all of the finer details and aspects and traits that you could find inside the human race. Like the Ramchal will explain to us later on in the book with the help of God. Last paragraph, וענייני החומר ומידות הרעות הם ענייני החיסרון שזכרנו ואדם מושם ביניהם לקנות לו השלמות. Intellectuality, the intellectual ability of a human being, and all of your character traits, הם ענייני השלמות שנמצאו להשתלם בהם האדם. These are the things that you have to work on, that you have to perfect yourself in. How does your brain think? What does it think about? And how do you feel? And how do you act when you feel that way? Right? Your emotions, your character traits, and your thoughts, those are the things that you're meant to be rectifying. The ideas of physicality and negative character traits, these are the lacks that we were talking about that you have to get rid of. And a person was placed perfectly in between them. In order for what? That he should acquire the good. He should complete himself and become better and better and better. This is the purpose of creation. So it's a very fundamental thing. It's very important to mention. Hashem is the ultimate good. The nature of good is to do good. Therefore, Hashem created a world so that He could give over good. But how could Hashem give us a car? How could Hashem give us a good job and call that good? It's not. When you're the ultimate good and you want to give good, so then you have to give from yourself. And that is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing. He created a world and He put inside of it a main creation that is able to, because of His placement and His makeup in this world, that He's a human being with a body and a soul, and that He has the ability to perfect Himself and an ability to ruin His life, right? Because you have that option, that is exactly why you're the choicest creation in the whole entire world. And your whole entire goal is to work on your intellect and your emotions and to get rid of the physicality and the negative emotions. And once you get rid of those, you will have more completion. And according to the level of completion you get to, the more of the good that you will be receiving, which is the attachment and clinging to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Amen.